literally went blank because I was thinking of something else. So I was just going through it. That's why I stopped.
That my fist was bigger than yours?
Son of a... What size shoes you wear?
My size? I'm from the hood, man. You can't ask me what size shoe I wear.
I'm not going to roll you in the parking lot, dude. You're twice my size.
What size you wear? That's the oldest trick in the book.
I'm Rob Blair, and I am with Gerald Smiley today, and I appreciate you coming.
Likewise.
And,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you. Brought you here today to ask some questions and some pointed questions, but I also want to kind of drill kind of deep on some stuff with you, because I think there's a lot of value in what you're doing and also where you've come from. And that's kind of how we've become friends, I think, is really just it's kind of a weird story. I wouldn't say weird, it's actually unique, but it's kind of cool. So I just maybe do a little intro of who you are and what you do, and we'll go from there. I'll let you know if it was good enough.
I appreciate
No, I'm
that.
teasing
I
you.
love you, brother. Yeah, thanks for having me here. Gerald Smiley from Seattle, Washington, born and raised. Had the opportunity to be blessed to go play for the Texas Rangers right out of high school, and became a bad investment after too many injuries, and got hurt and had to go. Coached college for 7 years, and scouted for Major League Baseball teams for 7 as well. And after that, really fell in love with real estate and found a passion.
That's awesome, man. So what position?
Pitcher.
Yeah.
Pitcher.
Right out of high school.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. Looking back, what was that like, though? I'm nowhere near that level in athletics, right? So it's always interesting to ask a professional athlete what that moment's like.
I felt ready. I felt also, at the same token, I should have went to college for at least a year. I signed at Chipola Junior College and also signed at Florida State. Back then, you can dual sign as an athlete, or in the baseball side anyway. Helped you in the Major League draft for leverage. They had to buy you out of your junior college and your 4-year scholarship if they wanted you to come play now. But getting to the pro side, it was a blessing. It was an honor. Nolan Ryan or Hershiser, they're our pitching coaches. Terry Francona is one of our, the minor league guys, and he's up in the big leagues. And those are your idols growing up. And I remember my first bullpen. They said, "Hey, Smiley, you got a bullpen?" I said, "What's a bullpen?" Because I never threw a bullpen,
Sure.
and it wasn't explained to me like that, right? I grew up in the inner city of Seattle, White Center, South End, Rainier Beach, and baseball's not big in those areas, right? You got basketball, football, and those are least expensive sports that you can play throughout the year in a long time with the same ball, if you will.
Right.
So I looked at Earl Hershiser like he was crazy for asking me that, am I ready for my bullpen?
Right.
And he looked at me like, because I said, "What's a bullpen?" He looked at me like, "What scout signed this dude?" Like, who is this dude?
Right.
And I'll never forget that look on his face. And I had to come out of that stardom as a young teenager because Oral was my idol. And then comes in Nolan Ryan talking to us. I had to get out of that funk as a kid, looking at them as my idol versus saying, "Look, dude, you need to listen and listen to what they're saying," because there's a difference between hearing and listening. So just getting to that level, being around those athletes and being around the big league guys who taught us younger guys, the game, made me grow up fast in a lot of ways. But I feel like also missing out on that college opportunity. I would tell any kid, if you have the shot to go play college, go play. But if the money's right in the draft and you can't turn that down, then go do that.
Coming from White Center, right? I mean, that's more money than probably any you've ever seen, right? I mean, did that kind of get to your head? I mean, what was that like? Were you intimidated by that, or were you just like, "Dude, I made it"?
100%.
Yeah, invincible, and like these are my guys. They're now talking to me. I idolize them, but now it's like, I mean, that's got to be this euphoric high. Like, I don't know. I'm just imagining myself in your position. It's like that's got to be amazing, right?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like when you give a young child, because I was a child, when you give a young child that kind of money with no education of what to do with that money once you get it, that can be very detrimental in a lot of aspects in life. When you're not taught how to make your money make money for you while you're sleeping, I feel like that's very detrimental to a child and an adult.
Yeah.
And when you live in that limelight, in that lifestyle of a professional athlete, you see how other athletes live, the ones who are doing it right and the ones who are doing it wrong. You tend to figure out like, okay, what does my lifestyle look like? And what that really comes down to is who's in your circle at that time.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're a child or an adult. And a party ain't a party by yourself,
Right.
right? So you give a young child that kind of money, and your friends, who you think you're really your friends at a young age, really could also be an entourage. And where you come from, where I come from, it's like, if I got it, you got it, because you're my boy.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you look up one day and like, oh my gosh, your money's almost gone. Your friends are gone. Like, you're not paying for them anymore. When you stop paying for them, things disappear. It's called sudden wealth syndrome. It can come to you in a signing bonus. It can come to you in a bonus from work. It can come to you passed down as an inheritance check from your family. You're suddenly wealthy, and what are you going to do with that? So I wish I had that upbringing and that teaching to make me understand where to go put that money and make it grow faster and faster and faster, which to me is real estate. And it's a low risk space.
Yeah. No, I think, and you touched on it a couple times there with the education aspect of it. And there's so much of what we're going to talk about that is exactly how you and I became friends, is what needs to happen at larger levels within communities, with companies, from company to company, all pouring in to try to help each other out. Right.
Amen.
And what you're doing and what you'll talk about, is your goal and your passion, is very much in line with what, I do with Movement Mortgage, as far as, the loan aspect of it, and, profits going back to the community through our foundation and building schools. It's huge. It needs to happen, right? I mean, we have that financial responsibility to take care of people, right? Because that's, without our community, we're no one, right? But if we don't take care of our community, we don't have the community, which means we're no one. So I think it's huge. But at dinner that night, we're sitting there, and I felt sorry for our friend, the other guy.
He was super quiet. I didn't even know he talked until he started talking.
Well, I mean, shit, he didn't have a chance.
Like, does this dude talk at all?
Well, we were like Grim Reaper. So, I mean, just to kind of get to the point, you were talking about passing of your mom and your dad and your grandma, right?
Grandfather,
Grandfather. Forgive me, sorry.
Are you good? So,
I mean, maybe bring that up, not to open that wound up, but right. I mean, that's kind of how we
connected,
started talking. So what happened as far as that timeline with their passing? And
it was interesting because for some reason at that table, like, you just felt like a safe space. Your energy, like how we were just communicating. I was like, oh no, something's telling me to like say what I was gonna say, right? And then I said it, and then you're like, wow, are you serious? Like, we just went through that, and then my wife just went through that. So that was a powerful connection, because I feel like men hurt more than women hurt, because we hold it in and we compound our hurt. And we feel like we don't want to talk to people, or we're taught to not be a sissy or whatever you want to call us, and man up, toughen up, and don't talk about it. Just move on.
You're a professional athlete, dude. Rub it off, walk it off. You're fine.
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean,
that's the reality of society at times. If you allow it to be your reality. So I lost my grandfather May 12, 2017, and that was a big blow for me. He was huge in my life, did everything for my brother and I and my mom and so many other people in his life. And then I lost my mother on my birthday, October 1st, 2017.
Damn, I didn't know it was your birthday. Dude.
Right after my grandfather. And it was a trip because I got a phone call from my brother. Nobody has heard from my grandfather, and I just got back in town. So I went over there to check on him. And I'm knocking on the door. No answer. There's no break-in, no nothing. This car is there. I don't see anybody. I look in the room, and there's no one in there. And then I look down on the ground, and there's my grandfather face down on the ground, right? And I was like, wow, this is it. So I had to call 911 paramedics. They came, kicked down the door, and wouldn't even let me go in case it was a homicide, right? They wanted me to stay out.
Sure.
And that bugged me at first, but then I realized they're just doing their job. But I wanted to be the first one to go in there and check on my grandfather. And then after my mom passed, I was with her for 39 days in a row in the hospital. And that hit me, that stung. And I was just trying to figure out all the whys. Like, why are the most important people in my life like leaving me right now? I'm going into the most toughest times of my life, most likely, right? And I have children. So as I continue to get older, there's things that I don't know about possibly that I might need advice still. And those were my rocks that I went to when I needed advice.
Yeah.
And a year and a half after my mom passed, again, I returned from town. I'm out of town. I'm in Arizona. And text my dad in a group text with my brother and my sister-in-law. And he hadn't answered in a couple of days. And it was weird, man. I landed back in Seattle. And I remember like 11, it was like 11 at night. I looked at my phone and my photos. And my mom's funeral service was like the top 3 photos on the very top of my phone. You got to scroll forever.
Yeah. And
I played the video because we released the Doves. And I was like, holy moly. And something just felt weird. And sure enough, man, next day I went to go check on my dad. I was getting a haircut and found him laying in his bed peacefully. And I was like, wow, okay. This is a year and a half apart. The most 3 influential people in my life are like gone. And for me, I was like, you know what? Just stay tough. There's a reason why you found your grandfather and your dad. And everyone's telling me this. You're the tough one in the family, and God chose you to go do it because you can handle it. And, when people tell you something over and over, you start to believe it, right? So I started to believe he chose me because I can handle this.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Just stay busy. Just keep your mind off it. Go, 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 go. And then that was compounding because when my day was over after go, 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 I went back to, okay, now I'm hurt again, right? And now I'm sad again. Now I want to cry again. I can't stop thinking about them. And it was affecting me mentally. It was affecting me physically because I didn't take the time to really grieve the way I thought I should have. I took the time to grieve the way I thought other people said I should do it. And I feel everyone's different, and it's totally up to you how you want to do this. But we all need the tools to get by and deal with this. You've been through it. Your first birthdays, the first Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, those crush you. I don't want to say it gets easier, but sometimes the pain gets a little easier at times, but it never easy, never ready for that. Yeah. And when I opened up and we were talking about that and you shared what you shared with me, I was like, whoa. I just got on a plane from Seattle and flew to Dallas in last minute flight.
I know.
And sat down with dinner, and then here you are.
We're just talking.
Yeah.
For what seemed like forever.
Forever.
It's like, hi, I'm here. It's like, oh, sorry. It's like morbid, but it's like, but it's not. It's life. I mean, people are dealing with it, and it's going to happen. We only have one mom, one dad, right? I mean, obviously there's mixed families, split families, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's a part of you goes, and you're not taught how to deal with that. Just like you're not taught how to deal with instant success and money and fame and being a professional athlete. That was probably the worst day of my life, is watching my mom die.
Amen.
But it's probably the best event that's ever happened in my life, which sounds really kind of weird.
Why you say that?
Because it gave me capacity. Conversations like this, it wouldn't be comfortable.
Amen.
Right? I've dealt with that pain. I can lift that weight. I've done it.
Amen.
Right? So that's where it's like, okay, I can see that you're hurting. There's something there. And I'm like, I'm here to talk. I mean, we just met, but we're brothers in that aspect, because it's like, once you join that club, you don't want to join that club, but we all get there at some point. Yeah. We got to help each other out.
Yeah. And I have a lot of trust issues. For me to trust you and open up to you, man, this dude he's got good energy. He's powerful. He made me feel something that I never felt. And I felt like opening up to my brother from another mother. And you did that. And so I say thank you for that.
Yeah, man,
and
absolutely.
Then now we're here today, and now we're doing business together.
Well, not only that, we're wanting to help more people.
Amen.
So there's a quote from a guy I saw the other day. His name is Justin Waller. And so, I talk about, helping people with cancer is my passion. Right. And he made a really interesting point that it just resonated with me, and I have it here. So it's, following your passion is almost too vague. The way you find passion is you go through so much pain with something that you become competent. Once you become competent in something, you have the ability to walk into a room and help people in a real way when otherwise you would not be able to do it.
That's deep.
So then you become passionate. So you go through the pain, you get the competence or the capacity is what I call it. And then you find passion and fulfillment in being able to help someone that is otherwise could not be helped if you hadn't suffered. Right?
That's deep.
That's
and
huge,
that hits home too.
I was like, damn, I need to say that to you. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the clip. But I mean, it's like, he's 100% accurate. And so it's that capacity. And, God works in different ways.
Amen.
Right.
Mysterious too.
Right. So that's why I say it. You're asking why I say that's probably one of the best things that happens, because it gave me that muscle memory, that capacity to help people and ask. I mean, you're a big dude, right? Hey, let's talk about your mom and your dad and your grandfather. I mean, it's like, I just met you. Let me enjoy my dinner, right?
Are you tripping?
Exactly.
Most people would think that, right?
Right. Yeah, but I saw it, I felt it, and it's like, okay. I mean, this guy is legit. I could tell. I saw it in your eyes, like, okay, he's gonna be open to talk, because it's like, I'm not doing it in a bad way. I'm not trying to open up a wound. It's like, I want to help you. Learning more about you, and sports is one thing. I mean, people idolize, put athletes on pedestals, and rightfully so for certain aspects, right? And I'm doing, I'm interviewing a lot of people that I feel are successful. I look at you as successful. I look at certain realtors and lenders as successful. It's not always monetary. It's what they've overcome.
Amen.
It might be a success for someone that just lost their loved one, just to be able to walk into the office and not break down. Right? It's having that ability to, even though you're having a bad day, listen to your client that was just diagnosed with cancer, which for whatever reason, I have half a dozen of those clients that have helped.
Yeah.
And it's at a different level. We're friends now. It's not, we got them in homes, we did all this stuff. It's great, but that's transactional.
Because you care.
I want relationships.
Amen.
Right? And I want to grow relationships. I want to compound relationships. And I know you do too. So it's just huge. It's God, I think, put us in front of each other, and love it, man.
Power team.
Exactly. Exactly. But what people don't realize is that we all have some gifts. It's just, it may not be wrapped as pretty as what you had, but that's also an assumption. It's probably a really naive assumption, because that was not a pretty gift.
Amen.
Right? You struggled when you were little. You had to work and put in the work. You had the athletic ability, which is a gift, but didn't have a pretty bow. It was probably wrapped in newspaper, right? Mine was thrown in the corner in a bag. There's a gift over there for you.
Go get it.
Yeah, go and wrap it. Enjoy it, share it, right? So that's what's appealing. It's not always as perfect, like, wow, this person is amazing, never had to go through hardship. The hardship is what is the attractive thing. That's the success, is overcoming that, and then now leveraging that and using it to help other people. So I just love what you're doing, and that kind of leads me to, talking about Chip In and what your goals are with that. And also, because of who you are and your gifts, who you have that are in your sphere that have a voice that can help you get, even further down the line. And, I think that's going to be a beautiful marriage, because you and I are literally running parallel to each other.
Literally.
Right? It's just like, I look over like, oh, that dude's running the same race. And you're like, hey, all right, well, let's go run together.
Amen.
Right? So I'm excited for that. So you obviously, you do real estate, I do mortgage, but you're also using that as a platform to get in front of other people and help other people through Chip In, which is something you're starting. So why don't you explain what Chip In is?
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's an online crowdfunding platform. We're actually releasing our Android and iOS version here soon. It fell in my lap, technology. It literally did. You said earlier, God works in mysterious ways, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And we used GoFundMe back in 2017 for my alma mater, Rainier Beach High School. We raised $18,000 in 7 days, $42,000 in 30 days. I didn't do that. The community did that, right? I put up a plea for help, to help the community and help these young children have a level playing field. Just give us good uniforms. Give us jackets. Just jackets. I need my athletes warm. It's cold and raining here. We just need jackets, bats, some balls. And the community said, you know what? We want to support this mission. And I saw the power of what GoFundMe could do. Mm-hmm. They took a lot of our money, though, right? A lot of our money. We could have used that. Any high school could use what they took. And there was no transparency of where people's money went. All they did was trust myself, the staff, and said, you know what? I want to do a good deed and give back. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of pushback from administration inside the schools. The district bounced back and forth, gave them a lot of ideas to go help 6 other schools in our school district. Mm-hmm. And when you coach as an outlet. You coach for, that's your me time, whether you're watering the grass or mowing the lawn or raking the dirt.
Right.
That's just your space where you want to disconnect from the world. And after all that pushback, I didn't feel like that was my space to get away from the world and just give back. And I woke up from a dream March 3rd, 2018, 1:30 in the morning, and the Lord said, start typing your Excel spreadsheet. And I was like, holy moly. Damn. It was deep.
Wow.
So long story short, we wrap celebrities, athletes, fans, businesses, individuals and communities around social giving, things they care about, and we bring them all together. We can incentivize and reward you as businesses. Us as a company, we can build things in the community together. Mm-hmm. Fans, we can raise money for fans and help them with financial assistance as well, with full transparency. So we actually did $3.5 million through the platform during our trial run with our web version.
Yeah, Federal Way School District.
Yeah, we helped Federal Way School District multiple times. Their partnership is amazing to us and very dear to our heart for many reasons. But one of them is over 86% of their children are free and reduced lunch. And I was one of those kids who was on free and reduced lunch. Yeah. So we want to make sure we just penetrate communities, all communities, not just ones that are lower income. We want to help any community that we can help. And as you look at the market, whether you have a lot of money or don't have a lot of money, people still want to give.
Absolutely.
They're just tired of giving to an engine where they don't know where it's really going. So now we're going to give you the leverage in the palm of your hand to be in control of where you want your money to go. And you know that it exactly went there.
Right.
And then we also give you a lot of incentives and perks, not just tax incentives, but shop local in your community who you get involved around this and put more money in your pocket for doing good.
Mm-hmm. Some of the people that you've connected with by doing this, going back to people that have gone through something, that have received that gift, right? Knowing where they came from and their story. It's that overcoming that, but also want to give back because that didn't feel good. That sucked. Yeah, it made me who I am. I appreciate that, but not everyone's going to be a professional pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Not everyone's going to be, a running back for, the greatest show on turf. Not everyone's going to be, a wide receiver for the Seahawks or whomever that's going to be, right? I mean, there's different levels and different attributes that people have that, we just need to help them along so they can become a gift to, other people as well. It's not just the athletic side of it. But going back to the athletic side of it, is like they have a voice, right? People know who they are. People know who you are. So you have some leverage there to where it's like, I want to help. Casey Crawford, he's an ex, right? He's got a Super Bowl ring.
And a good dude.
He's an amazing dude. Not a normal human.
Amen.
When I say that, it's like, well, he's huge human.
Correct.
But, he's all heart, So, with what we're doing, our goal is to have, 100 schools in the next decade.
Amen.
We have 4. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of loans we got to close. That's a lot of, giving back, right? And the communities that we're looking at are communities that are decimated. I mean, on average, kids are moving 2.5 times a year.
Wow.
It's a cycle of poverty that we're trying to stop by, setting the education system and having something that's going to be stable with what you're doing. That's why I say we're literally running parallel.
Amen.
So we want to throw stuff over the fence and back and forth and collaborate with you. I'm all in with whatever you're doing. I want to do it.
Likewise.
I'm going to call out some people in my company.
Amen.
So, but I want you to do the same with people that you have influence in relationships as well, because,
exactly.
you know, going back to real estate and mortgage, I mean, that's how you stabilize a family, right? That's how you start building generational wealth. That's
Amen.
how you
ownership.
Absolutely. And the education of that, you know, you coming out of high school and having this money and not knowing what to do with it. No one ever told you, right? It's just, it's like, I hit the lotto. I don't know what to do with it.
Literally.
You know, exactly. Right. But had someone done that, you know, things might be a little bit different. Things might be a little bit, I mean, I don't know your circumstances now or where it was then. I would imagine it's still good, but it probably could have been better.
Amen.
Right. So same with someone that's trying to buy their first home. It's like, let's just educate. Let's pour into you. There isn't a magic bullet per se. It's someone that's willing to take the time to educate someone like, hey, here's how I did it. And you and I are the same. I had the exact same come up. I had the exact same situation. Right. And Rob over there, he doesn't look like us, but he has the same passion as you.
Yeah.
Casey doesn't look like us, right? But he has the exact same passion. There's people that want to help you.
Amen.
Let's just give you that opportunity to learn.
Amen.
You know, so that's something I'm excited about for your future, my future, and you know, with Chip In as well as movement. Like, let's go change the world, man.
Amen. And that's honestly, that's what moved me when you didn't just tell me, you also showed me what you guys were doing, right? And it wasn't just the alignment with Chip In. It was the alignment with what you've been through. You told me where you grew up, where you're from, right? Mm-hmm. And you told me what the goal of this company was. And I don't hear that from many people. You'll hear a lot of fluff from people, but you guys are doing it. That's not fluff. You just say you're on 4 schools. You're trying to hit 100 in a decade. Yeah. And I'm going to say you're going to hit that.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to crush it way sooner than that for multiple reasons. But one, you're educating buyers.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying, okay, we love you. We care about you. Let's not make this just a transaction. You start here, next step, and then now here you are. Now you're a homeowner. Mm-hmm. You're educating. They have to listen. It's an old saying, the teacher will appear when the student's ready, right?
Right, yeah.
And that's what you guys are doing. You're always here for people who are willing to listen to what you guys dig into, that they give you, and say, okay, don't feel stupid, dumb, or embarrassed. Who cares where you're at?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of society wants to feel stupid, dumb, or embarrassed by letting people be excluded from knowing their financial circumstances.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of communities, not just the Black and brown community, but a lot of community members they're private for one, right? And there's a lot of know-it-alls out there, and there's a lot of fakes and phonies, and there's a lot of good people too. And I feel like the groups over here that I just mentioned, if they're willing to just stop buying things that are not necessary, stacking your money, calling a creditor if you have credit issues, calling a creditor saying, hey, how do I settle this? Can I settle for half? Can I settle for less? Can you put me on a payment plan? And then not go buy that Crown Royal or that vodka or Hennessy or the Jordans or whatever it is that you feel, or the new iPhone, get a new plan. If you want to reshift the money over here and put it over here, now you're on your way to ownership. Now you're on your way to generational wealth. Yeah. Now you're on the way for your equity growing year over year versus being a renter. You're paying someone else's mortgage, paying down their equity, increasing their net worth, and your net worth is staying the same as a renter if you're not making other investments, and you're not building generational wealth. I feel like the worst thing you could do is when you pass away Just my opinion doesn't mean I'm right. But you pass away and you leave your children with a bunch of clothes and debt. Like, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's why people go to GoFundMe to say, you know what, I need help because I did not sell myself up for my family. So it goes deeper than owning real estate too. There's other ways to set yourself up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have the capacity to help someone get in a home.
Amen.
Right? Because we've done it over and over and over and over. I mean, for years we've been helping people get into homes. Mm-hmm. So we have the capacity for that. We also, I mean, have capacity to talk to someone that's hurting, right?
Amen.
Because we've dealt with that, right? So it's that muscle. So everyone has those abilities to help each other out. It's just like you just got to get past that insecurity, or no one wants to show weakness. No one wants to show. It's like, you know what? There's a lot of strength in that weakness that you're dragging along with you.
Correct.
Right? Because you know it backwards and forwards. You've analyzed it. You wake up every day. You go to bed every night, thinking about it, knowing it, feeling it, smelling it, seeing it. It's your life. It's part of you.
Amen.
But since you know it so well, why not help other people that are maybe just now feeling that?
Exactly.
So every year with Movement, we get an impact report. Here's how many families were helped to get into homes. Here's how much the foundation was able to give back. In 2020, it was $200 million check.
That's deep.
Casey actually went to his father's, I guess it was a hardware shop, and the employees there that were really just two gentlemen that helped each other and loved on each other, essentially, as far as like, hey, he needs a job more than me. They gave each other basically each other's jobs to try to help each other out because they were struggling.
That's deep.
And he's like, I want you guys to be part of this. And this is what you've done and inspired me to do. And he had them help sign that check. Right? I mean, that's a huge
Powerful
circle to come around. Like, thank you for being examples and inspiration in my life, because now I'm in a position that we're going to $200 million is huge. That's Lambos, that's vacation homes, that's yachts, that's right. Casey, that's what I'm saying. It's not a normal human, and we need more people like him, or to attract more people like him, like that same mindset that we have enough, and we have the ability and want and capacity to help more people get where they need to be and through what they need to get through. And so that's what I love with Chip In. I mean, you were showing me the app the other day where, like, even if someone has like a utility bill, phone bill, it has the ability where they can upload it, you verify it. You don't give that person money, you actually just can pay their bill for them.
Amen. 0 to 100.
Yeah. Speaking of 100, what's your fastest pitch?
95. Sometimes you just got to reach back in your back pocket and get a little extra on it.
Okay.
I was 91, 93.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes you got to dig a little extra. Maybe it's a full count, or it's an 0-2, or you just want to surprise the guy in the heat of the moment type deal, and hopefully you can still command it. Yeah. And sometimes that might rise on you or get away from you too.
So what's your best pitch?
Whatever is working for me that day.
Okay. Which one? Okay. That's fair, I guess, right? So who's all right? That's fair, I guess. Well, it is. I mean, it's like, my arm's about ready to get blown out. So what do you expect?
Every day your slider's not on. Every day your split's not on. Every day the curveball's not there. Every day the fastball's not there, and you want to make sure you're not pitching in a pattern, because these big league hitters and minor league guys, they know your pattern. They got iPads in the dugout. They can go watch it as soon as you threw it. Charts everywhere. They know your pattern based on how it's called fanning your glove. You got your glove on, and these 5 fingers control your glove. Yeah. So if you're doing something here only on a curveball or a slider, they can see that too and hit it. So you got to be on. It's not. I think it's the hardest game on the planet, to be honest with you. But golf is pretty hard too, because it'll frustrate you and humble you, and that ball ain't even moving.
It's true. So who'd you hate pitching against?
Everybody.
I don't know who's that one dude is like every time.
Joey Votto, man. Joey Votto.
Yeah, he got your number.
Oh wow, he's got a lot of people's number. I remember the first time I threw to him was 2001, 2002. Left the yard, hit a double off the wall, and I think he went 4 for 4 for the day off myself and a couple other guys, and he's just he can rake. He grew up coming up as a catcher.
Okay.
But they got him out of there and put him to first base to, preserve his knees. But yeah, he can stroke. Can you go 3 for 10 and you're the best to ever live in the game of baseball? But if you come to work
3 for 10
and you say,
yeah,
boss says, hey, I need you to close these 10 loans, and you say, sorry, I'm only going to do three out of every 10.
Gerald said 3 for 10 is like,
right?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep your job?
Yeah. No.
You're not going to keep your job.
No.
So these kids put so much pressure on them, and that's what I mean by once you get to that level, guys show up to the yard. Of course, there's pressure on them, or they're in their own head, or they panic, or they try too hard type stuff, just like a youth athlete. But they just show up to the yard to say, I trust my preparation. I trust my growth. I trust the process. I trust my plan. And when I get in the box, I'm just going to work my plan. I don't care who's pitching. And then the vice versa as a pitcher. I don't care who's in that box. Sometimes you got to move their feet, get them off your plate too, right? Yeah. To make them uncomfortable because they got your number.
Yeah.
So you got to do something.
You'll wake them up.
Yeah. You got to do something to get them off their game in hopes that, okay, now he's kind of, I wouldn't use the word rattled, but he's upset because you know who I am and why are you trying to throw in on me like that?
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes you just have to do that.
It's crazy. It's a mind game.
It is all the way around.
Yeah.
I think life in general. The brain's the most powerful tool God gave you if we work it right. It could be your worst enemy too, because your voice is the loudest voice you hear. I'm talking to you right now, but I can guarantee you're talking to yourself in your own head while I'm talking.
Oh yeah. It's
just human.
Yeah.
Right. So when we go home, and that's going back to that trauma we were talking about, right? Just busy, go, 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 go. Okay, but you're still in your own head when you come home. So I tell kids and adults all the time, you got to be your best friend in your own head. Because you're not going to go tell your friend or your wife or whoever else how bad they look and they're terrible, you're fat, you're ugly, you smell, you'll never be this, you'll never be that. But why do we do it to ourselves at times? Because we're human. But the important piece is we can't stay stuck there.
Yeah.
Have your moment.
Right.
But you got to keep going because this world time don't stop for anybody. So just don't stay there. But you have to be your own best friend, whether you're an athlete, whether you're in business, whether you close the deal that you thought you should have closed, whether that house closed, whether that sale of the car as a car salesman, car saleswoman, whatever it is, that you got to look for the no's in this business too.
Yeah.
You go for the no. That's a powerful book.
Yeah.
I recommend you read that book. Go for the no.
Go for the no.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you ask 100 people, let's just do the 80-20 law, right?
Yeah.
Do 100, you're going to get your yeses, but most people stop after they say no. You ever seen that movie Friday you seen Friday?
Yeah.
Where she shows up to the house and she's like, are you ready for Jehovah's return? And he slams the door and she goes, forget you.
Yeah.
Half dead, says the rest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guarantee you, just because Ice Cube slammed the door in her face, she's going to go knock on the next door.
Yeah.
Ice Cube said no, slam the door, but she's going to go knock on the next door to try to convert.
Yeah.
Try to convert. Right. In our industry, we got to convert this to a sale also. In baseball, you got to convert this pitch into a strike. Or you got to convert this into a hit, move the runner over, or get him over, get him in. So that's why I think in life business, it's all the same mindset. It's just how you apply it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll touch on there is Dusty Baker told me this one time. He said, do you believe applied... Let me start over.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker told me this one time. Do you believe knowledge is power? I said, yeah. Because that's what everyone says. Everyone says. You hear it enough, you believe it, right? Subconscious mind connects to that term, automatically say yes. And he said, let me take you a layer deeper. Do you believe applied knowledge is power? And I was like, whoa. It's kind of deep. You can go to Eric Thomas seminar.
Have you been?
Yeah. You can go to Eric Thomas seminar and get fed.
Yeah.
You go to Tony Robbins seminar that you and I went to and get fed.
Yeah.
You can go to any of those seminars or webinars, Zoom, or take a course, go to college, and get fed the knowledge. But if you don't apply it, you're just sitting on wasted knowledge.
Yeah. I want to go to ET's.
Powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a reader because the way my mind works, like, and he literally is like speaking to me is like, if you read three pages in a book and you pick up something from it, why do you keep on reading? Go apply it.
Exactly.
I'm like,
that's powerful when he says
oh,
that
it's
too.
huge. Well, he's saying it differently than I just said it. Obviously, he's coming from the heart, right? I mean,
he said he doesn't read any book all the way through.
No.
Most people don't.
Well, I have ADD, so it's
Same
kind of hard for me.
Yeah. I don't care what y'all think.
Yeah. I look at it as a gift, honestly.
Amen. For real.
Yeah.
We're good multitaskers.
Yeah, that, and I can have a couple voices in my head that
we
are talking
think
to me.
different.
Yeah.
That lead us down the right path too.
Absolutely. So yeah, I got slapped in the face verbally from one of my coaches that I'd hired.
You told him what size shoe you actually wore?
My size. Yeah. I'm learning. Applied knowledge right there.
Hey, give me some.
But so I did like the interview, right? And it's like an hour long. We're going to fill each other out a little bit. And this is before I kind of realized I'd been impacted so much from my mom's passing, right? It's like I was just dealing with stuff, kind of like what you were talking about, the mental side, the physical side. I mean, it was all just starting to, manifest into something that wasn't good, know? And so, my buddy Ryan's like, you should talk to Paul. He's not the X's and O's type guy, but he's going to help you get through your business the way you need to get through your business. And so hour long, just we're going to fill each other out. And about 20 minutes into it, he's asking me to tell my story and what's going on. And he's like, okay, whoa, we got to stop. This is not going to work. Not going to happen. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I can't work with someone as egotistical as you.
That's deep.
And I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, no one understands me. And like all those negative things, like I literally am just pouring my heart out. These are all the things that have gone wrong and what I'm, dealing with. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm not egotistical. I'm not arrogant. He goes, there's two sides to ego. There's the arrogant side and there's the self-destructive side. You, my friend, are egotistical. And I'm just like quiet. And
he didn't tell you what side you were on at this point?
No, he's self-destructive side.
Oh, self-destructive. Okay.
But I've never looked at ego that way.
Yeah.
So that negative thought in your mind, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm like, whatever, I sound funny on camera. It's probably,
real.
Right?
It's real.
Right? He's like, he called me out on it. And I needed that, verbal slap in the face. I'm like, can I hire you? And he starts laughing. He goes, let's finish our conversation. He goes, I want you to understand where I'm coming from and what you are doing to yourself. And so at that point, it just like spun my world like a 180. And I'm like, okay, I need more. And so that kind of opened up just the parameter and my vision on, okay, there's so much of this stuff is I'm causing myself, right? And so everything you said is resonating with me. And I love it because it's a lot of people just have that mindset and that inner monologue of I'm not good enough. And you're always looking at yourself. I mean, it's human nature. You gotta look at what else is out there. And that's why I'm having these conversations with people like you and Kim and other people that I'm having conversations with about success, because success is different for everyone. So kind of coming full circle on how we originally started and why we're talking now is, find whatever that gift is and use it, leverage it, get over yourself and pour into other people, because that's successful. That's overcoming it and leveraging a gift.
Amen.
Right. So that's what I love about it. I love everything you're doing.
Likewise.
Literally everything
Appreciate
you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird how the world works and how God works, but
it's
I'm
a
not
blessing
argue.
too.
It's
Amen.
a blessing. I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, it's there. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna help people.
Let's touch on that gift you were just talking about for a second, though. Everyone's born with a gift. Everyone is born with a gift, and a lot of people don't understand that the gift you were given might not be what you really want. Also, I believe in the Lord. You might, whoever doesn't believe in that, whatever their higher power, energy, whatever they believe in, you are still born with a gift. Even if you don't believe in anything, you were given a gift. And you're told to go multiply those talents, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people go to their deathbed without utilizing and maximizing the gift they were given. I'm gonna say it again. They go to their deathbed, not utilizing or maximizing the gift they were given, and then their gifts and their dreams and goals are staring at them on their deathbed, saying, "Why didn't you give life to me?
It's regret.
I gave you something that was powerful, and you could have changed this world. You could have changed your whole family tree. You could have just changed your life if you didn't change the other factors I just touched on." So being okay with stepping out with a leap of faith and saying, you know what, I'm going to take a big risk. I'm going to believe in me. I'm going to invest in me so I can be better, I can do better, and I can really leave a legacy. So when you talk about success to me is leaving a legacy, whatever that looks like for you. Because you're not going to die with the money in your bank account. Actually, you're just not going to take it with you.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
You're going to die with it in there, though,
Yeah.
right? Your family, they're going to get all that. However, whatever your will says, hopefully you have one, you need one. And your assets, they can't go with you. So are you here today, gone tomorrow, no one remembers you? Or are you here today, gone tomorrow, and you touch a lot of people who can go impact other people and keep this going? A lot of people say, you know, your job is to leave this world a better place than you found it. I agree. A lot of people let that go through one ear out the other, though.
Yeah, they're not applying it.
And that's why I feel like there's a difference between hearing and listening that we touched on earlier. Is like when you really listen to your gift and you listen to your calling, then you got to identify your why. Then you got to marry that with your purpose. When you marry your why with your purpose, I feel like you're unstoppable.
It's a different energy. It's a next level type of energy. That's where I could tell where, you know, that capacity I was talking about earlier as well, and that why and wanting to help people. I mean, helping people with cancer is a passion of mine. I mean, that's, again, that muscle memory is there. So much so that I'm trying to do stuff obviously within movement to help people that when we close a loan for someone, we do an amazing job getting them in the home. I want to keep them in the home.
Amen.
You know, and often it's, you know, to income to qualify, and, you know, if it's, you know, husband or wife or, you know, spouse or whatever has cancer, well, that income's now reduced. And God forbid it's when you're children.
Amen.
Because I don't know about you, I'm probably not working, right? I'm
100%.
I'm trying to save my kid.
Amen.
And so with Chip In and with what we can do on the servicing side, it's like I think there's something there that we can help people. I mean, I've been told no, I don't know how many times already from, you know, people that I've asked, but that's okay. It's like, all right, well, it's not the time. It doesn't mean that my passion is going to go away. It doesn't mean that what I want to accomplish is going away. It just means, all right, I just need to keep practicing and you keep on lifting that, you know, that weight to where I get strong enough to where I have enough influence, have enough people around me that understand what I'm saying.
That's
have
the
a
key.
Voice. Right.
That's the key.
And so that's why I look for people like you. It's like same frequency, same wavelength, right? I mean, that's where it's at. Because it's like, okay, as soon as I said that, you're like, dude, that's amazing. You saw it because you felt it, you've lived it. I mean, it's been right. So that's
and that's a goal,
right? But I can tell you, wanting to accomplish and do things success-wise within my business. I mean, I work with guys that are all competitive. We all give each other talk trash, but we love each other, and we. I mean, it's
a clubhouse. It's a locker room.
It is
in the office,
and we're family and we're friends, and we do things together. And it's like we all, but I want to kick his ass.
Amen. Yeah.
And they want, you know,
100%.
But that's good. It's healthy. That's great, but that goes away. I mean, I a couple of years ago I hit President's Club
Congrats.
for the first time.
Amen.
And I remember I literally was like pedal and metal and crossed the finish line, wheels fell off, and I literally made it like the last day to qualify. Awesome. And it was an amazing feeling that day. The next day was the worst feeling.
Why?
It was done.
Oh, okay. It
was done. I'd start over again.
Did you set a new goal after that?
I did, but
okay.
it was like all that is done now, and I'm starting all over again, which I've kind of switched a little bit in my mindset on, okay, I need to focus and celebrate and fall in love with that process of just doing this and building these relationships, and the rest of the stuff will fall in line to where I don't have to
Amen.
worry about
Amen.
that piece of it. But with that, that's a different energy level, and that comes and goes.
Yeah. Alignment.
Right. So when I talk about what really pulls me spiritually to help people, that's next level energy. I've been in the room more times than I'd like to admit where my loved one is being told they have cancer, and you watch them literally die. You see it in their eyes. They just shut down. So like, okay, I'm their mouth, I'm their ears, I'm their brain, I'm everything for them.
Advocate.
Right. So I have to be passionate. I have to ask the questions. I have to think, and I want to help them. Right. So I mean, it's a different thing. If I can couple that with what I do to help people get into homes by allowing them to stay in their home, because I mean, 1 out of every 3 males, and I think 1 out of every 4 females will have cancer.
That's deep. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating because we do all this stuff to cancer awareness and money for research, but no one talks to people that are going through cancer. No one's had the conversation. Well, I'm sure they have, but I've had conversations with my mom about her losing her hair and mastectomy, and so she feels like she's deformed and she's not beautiful, and she's not, having those conversations with a client of mine that went through the exact same thing, was saying the exact same thing that my mom did. I can have a conversation with her. She's never been able to say that to anyone. Why is she saying that to me? I don't know.
Yeah.
She felt comfortable.
Amen.
Right. This is an uncomfortable conversation, but I love you enough to say, yeah, you are beautiful. This is what's happening. And that's, you'll work through this. You got to find your life has changed, but you're going to be a beacon of hope for someone because you're going to succeed. You're going to get through this. You're going to recover, and you're going to help other people. And that's how you're going to be your new person.
Amen.
So let that die. Let that go. That's your ego talking, right? That's all the stuff that you don't want to, that's all superficial. The power is who you become afterwards. And so emerge from that, go through it. I hope you go through it, but I want you to emerge this better person that's going to help other people.
Amen.
She's a basketball coach for college. And so I'm like, you're an amazing coach. I've seen footage. I know who you are. You got to coach yourself up. I'm going to help coach you. And then you're going to be inspiration for all these other girls that are going to have to go through the exact same thing.
Amen. Because they're going to at some point.
I mean, 1 out of every 4, it's going to happen. And so I can't do the research. I can't find the cure, but I can help people go through that because they are going through it.
Yeah, that part. When your mom's losing her hair, breast removed, feeling that way, she probably got to a point because you coached her to say, you know what, who cares what they think? We love you. You're still beautiful. You're still the same person. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to get older, right? Yeah. Whether it's a health issue or skin don't look the same or like, I want to lose weight, whatever it is, we're all going to get there. And being okay with being yourself. We cannot be shaped by society, letting them tell us who we are, who we should be. And that goes back to the why and the purpose. No, you're unstoppable. No one can tell you anything. Mm-hmm. As long as you have laser focus to get to that end goal. And there, as you know, you've been in business for a long time. There's no straight line in business. There's no straight line in life. No. As long as you get there, that's all that matters. You might have to take a step back. You might even just need to stay right where you're at and just pause. You might got to go left, go right, jump over the hurdle. Yeah. There's so many different things you can do to make an adjustment to still get to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. But for me, that just goes back to what you just touched on, like be okay with being yourself. Mm-hmm. That's a big thing.
It's huge.
And you're probably going to get where you want to get to once you can be okay with doing that. Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's not just people with cancer. It's
everybody.
It's everyone. I have a place in my heart for veterans with PTSD. Obviously, I experienced some pretty severe trauma with my mom's passing, and so I had to work through that. And so again, connecting with these guys that it wasn't war, but it's still trauma, right?
Yeah.
And understanding what happens. I mean, that's a trauma. That type of trauma it's a brain injury.
It was a war within yourself. It wasn't a war on the battlefield with other humans.
Yeah, I didn't see my buddy die. I saw my mom die, right? And it was traumatic enough that it changed me. and I had to work through that. I had to find that way. And so, just understanding where they're at, having conversations that they don't think anyone ever would understand is kind of next level too. So, I mean, helping veterans, on the mortgage side, on the real estate side,
Deep.
it's huge, right? Because a lot of these guys, I mean, they're putting their lives on the line to, for you and I. And, we need to celebrate that. We need to help them, obviously, with home ownership. But, there's a lot of them that need help in other ways. And again, it's an injury that people don't see.
Yeah.
They're not walking with a limp because of a trauma.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
You see it in their eyes. You can tell there's some, at least I pick up on a lot of it, and we have different conversations, next level conversations,
Yeah.
to where it's like, okay, I want you to trust me enough to where I'm going to help you get in this home. I'm going to help your family, build that wealth. We're going to get you to your goal. But, I also want to be a resource where we can just talk.
Amen.
Right. Just
Amen.
same with you.
Yeah. Real.
So, I mean, VA, going back to the real estate side, I mean, that's why we're here, obviously, is to talk about that as well. But, I mean, they call it a VA loan, but it really is a benefit. And it's an earned benefit.
Hey, that part.
Right. So, but I know you were doing some stuff with veterans, even with Chip In, and obviously with your real estate side. What are you doing with that?
Yeah. So on the Chip In side, we want not just people currently and veterans that were in the military. We want everyone to come around us, to love them, to help them. That's why we also call it Chip In. Just chip in what you can. We're stronger together in numbers. Yeah. I don't care what country you're from. There's military in all countries. We can help so many people, not just here. We want to get them into affordable housing. We as the buyers, the community chipping in to go buy this land, to build these affordable units, we can control the rent margins if we stick together. Now we create ownership for communities. We put veterans in these homes. We give them job skills. We increase their lives. We teach them tech, how to code, how to be a video producer, whatever it is they want to learn how to be. We can help them. They helped us in so many ways. And I feel like we owe that as a society. Whether you believe in that or not, they still served. They still did their time. We can come together because they protected us.
Absolutely.
And that's why I feel like when we come together as millions across this country, to me, that's buying power. That's buying power. And we don't have to say, you know what, we're going to charge you $3,000 for that 800 square foot studio,
right,
with the bathroom over here. We don't have to do that because we, the people, come together. And on the flip side, I think now is the time for veterans. Use your VA loan. Get out there.
Yeah.
See what's out there. What can you afford? Zero down. I'm saying that again. Zero down on a VA loan. Now is the time. They say the buying time is now always. Now is always the time, right?
Right.
But right now, if I was a veteran and I had those benefits that you've earned, I would get out there and hustle and go find something that works for you, whether it's your first or your whatever it is you're doing. You should get out there and play in this market.
Absolutely. It's affordability is kind of a big issue right now because rates went up. But right now is an amazing time because this time last year, people were paying, 10% over. You were getting these bid wars and, people were losing out and there was frustration and buyer fatigue. Well, now it's like we can actually have a conversation.
Amen.
We can maybe get seller concessions to maybe get you a lower rate to get into the home.
So many programs.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So you can look back and say, okay, well, these things will adjust, right? But I can't go back in time and get my home at the price point it was today.
Correct.
A year from now.
No, not gonna happen.
Right. So it's the acquisition cost is what I always educate people on. It's like getting in, and that's fixed in time now. So that price point's fixed in time. So the rate can adjust up and down. It's like, well, rates are high and don't know if I can refinance. Well, if you look back at recessions, every recession.
Yeah, we've seen this.
We've
this
seen
is nothing new.
We've seen it, right? So we are in a recession, right? So when that happens, once we emerge from that, rates come down. It has to come down. And on average, I think it's 1.73% or something on average over the last 40 years, what rates have come down after recession.
Have a recession.
That's what's happened. So
get in now.
Exactly.
Date the interest rate.
Exactly.
Refinance.
Rate might be a little crazy, right? It's got the rabbit and the boiling on the stove type thing. Yeah. But yeah, get in, leverage, use other people's money, even though the rate might be, I mean, historically, it's still dragging across the bottom. We just got spoiled the last 2 years.
Yeah.
2.5 years, right?
In a major way.
But we can always adjust that at some point, so we can also adjust it based on negotiations, because now we have sellers that are willing to listen, and there's more inventory starting to build up. It's not a seller's market per se. It's a kind of a neutral market. Now we have the ability to talk to them.
Amen.
And so I'd say 95% of the stuff that we have in escrow right now has some form of seller concession.
Amen. Now's the time again. Date the interest rate, mirror your property, just do it.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming.
Likewise, man. Yeah, this has been awesome. It's been amazing.
I consider you a friend.
Likewise. I consider you my brother.
Thank you.
Amen.
Same.
I mean that though.
Brothers know the size of their shoes.
Amen. And their fists.